Welcome back everyone to episode 44 of Let's Play Advanced Tactics Gold. Since the last episode, I did push forward. I ended the turn. I had a few adjustments to make. One of the things I noticed, and I did push my engineer further back west, is we're running a pretty serious deficit in oil. I mean, don't let it fool you. It says plus 11,000, but with all the tank movement, and especially with all our dive bombers, which I probably have to call an end to the production of pretty soon, we're just like, we're bleeding oil pretty severely. So let's just quickly go over what happened since I ended the last turn. So at the beginning, or I should say at the end of last episode, things looked like this. We had finally pushed across the bridge. This little pocket of the Germans existed. It still will, don't worry. And we had made it into Lorient as well. Let's see what happened. I'm just going to go to the battles. We had the Russians attacking the Germans here, this small pocket. I thought they might collapse it entirely. Some bombardment on me, some more bombardment on me, some German bombardment now. Now it's the German turn, and the Germans bombarded this area. I think they do it more than once. They bombarded me, I took 2 casualties. Then they bombarded that area again. Russians aren't taking too many casualties, but I mean, it's something, right? Then the Germans counterattacked here, pushed back out. They are even... This area is so weak, I guess, that they're starting to really push out. I mean, I've just done a lot of work on the Russians, right? I've been constantly attacking them, moving in, and then falling back into the protection of the hills. But it softened them up so much that now the Germans can go on the offensive, which is very good news for me, because then they can kill the Germans for me, and I don't have to risk my troops. So more attacks. This one not so successful. That's what you get when you attack with staff. Not something I recommend. Okay, and then this is the... well, this was not a very good attack, was it? Just attacking with infantry against armored cars. Although they did kill 2 armored cars. It's pretty impressive. They did attack me. It did not go well for them. They lost 4 armored cars because they were attacking into entrenched anti-tank positions with armored cars. Not even tanks. I mean, I think tanks would have overrun this, but not armored cars. I was surprised by this. They sent 4, I mean, they bombarded my engineer hex with 4 artillery, heavy artillery, and we didn't take any losses, which is, I mean, wonderful, but surprising, I think. Okay, so they did counterattack my, the push I had into the outskirts of Breslau. Is that Breslau? I already forgot the name. Bayreuth, sorry. I don't even know where I came up with these names. Sorry about that. Bayreuth, yeah. Okay, so they did counterattack that. Oh, let's see. Let's get back all the way to that counterattack. Oh, and that's it. Okay, so that's actually the end. Good, so now what are we doing to do on our turn? What's my response? Certainly, actually, I want to take Bayreuth. What to do about Bayreuth? So yeah, these engineers are full strength even, which is wonderful. Last turn I did also start to create new divisions. The south is where most of the fighting is going on and where most of my new troops need to go. So I actually created 2 new medium armor divisions and 2 new artillery divisions, which I figured they probably won't be ready in time to help with Bayreuth, but they may be in time to assist with the siege of Cologne. And again, remember that the Russians are only 3 hexes away from Cologne, so if we don't move quickly enough, Cologne could be taken, and then we have to retake it from the Russians, which I would prefer not to do. Okay, so do we start in the north as we typically do? Okay, yeah, we can do that. Let's see. Actually, I think I'm going to start in the south just because I'm really excited about taking Bayreuth, and I think if we can take Bayreuth, the north doesn't really matter, right? There's no strategic... Let me zoom out one. There's no strategic resource for us anywhere over here. We have enough airplanes already, otherwise I would consider taking both of these aircraft factories. But it's not so important. And they have just gone insane with the factory building, huh? It's like everywhere you look there's another factory. Yeah, I'm going to have to try to disable that for the next Let's Play series that I do if I'm using AI. Because it's just not normal. It's not fun to only fight armored cars and infantry guns, right? Okay, so enough being talked about with factories. I've mentioned it far too many times. To do this attack, it's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to bombard probably even only one time because they don't have very much that can be destroyed with artillery. So I'll probably just use the second to bombard here. And this is just to weaken whatever forces are there, lower entrenchment, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if we can get one armored car to retreat, that's just a bonus. But we're trying not to do too much damage to a location which we intend to occupy by the end of the turn. Next, we're going to dive bomb. That's the follow-up. Let's see who's the furthest away unit we can get to dive bomb. Yeah, nobody can dive bomb except for our locals right here, but that's fine. I only think we need one dive bomber to be used because they only have 5 units in there. We already, I'm sure, could take it, but I'm being a little safe. So let's dive bomb it first. Yeah, so even after 8 rounds, these guys they all fled. And yeah. One thing I might do, actually, this would be kind of interesting. I could artillery bombard this and attack here, which would cut off these units. Okay, but the only units remaining now are 3 armored cars. I do plan on attacking this hex anyway, so you know what? We might as well. Let's see, where else would our artillery be useful? Not here, that's a pretty weak hex. That's a pretty weak hex. Do they have enough infantry here to make it worth my while? It's like 10 infantry so far. I mean, not really, but they don't have infantry basically anywhere except for here, but I don't want to attack that hex because that one's holding off the Russians. So yeah, I guess we'll probably use these anti-tank guns against this armored car. That makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so let's do it. Let's move both of these guys in here, which is going to cost 30 because of the zone of control, but that still gives them 7 rounds to bombard this area. And I think that's what we want to do. A lot of these units are the ones who are bombarding our units anyway, so let's see. Lowered entrenchment quite a bit. That's very good. Now we want to do, let's see, who can get involved? Only this one. Then I guess we have to use that unit, huh? Yep. Okay, well, there's a lot of targets to pick from, so... Wow, that's going very well, huh? Okay, great. 7 heavy artillery, 7 guns, 6 armored cars, 7 artillery, lots of stuff. Good. Okay, well, does that mean it's time? Is it time for us to actually make the attack? It's not necessary for us to do the attack with almost anybody, except for maybe... See, these guys can actually... What's the best way of doing it? 40 to move there or there. It doesn't matter which way we attack from. So let's attack from here, which will just allow us to occupy a little more territory before we move in. And I don't... I was going to say, I don't even think I need to attack with more than just the anti-tank guns. This is basically a 20-to-1 combat ratio. And we do have anti-tank guns. So it's not like we're attacking tanks with only infantry. But it's probably still unnecessary for us to attack with anything but this unit, so let's just do that. Okay, yeah, we actually took 2 machine gun losses, but that's fine. Okay, so we push there. Make sure that we're still in supply. We're right next to the road, so looks like we're in good shape to push even further south, which I actually do intend to do, but not on this turn. Great. Who wants to assist in the attack with Bayreuth? I think we'll just attack with the 75 on this side and these guys. Do they have enough? Can they? They sure can. And then we're not even going to attack. We're not even going to... well, if we're going to move other units in, maybe we'll attack with both these guys. Because these machine guns, they need to end their turn in Bayreuth so that we can start occupying it with a reasonable garrison. We don't want any counterattacks. Let's do the attack like this. Whoa! Wow, that was very unexpected. Incredibly unexpected that we took so many casualties. But Bayreuth is ours, so good. Let's first dedicate it to our main headquarters. And then let's start the production of political points. Good, so 5 extra political points. We have more than enough. In fact, it looks like I forgot to do my last upgrade. I think I was going to go with medium tanks. It's not too late. But we don't want to upgrade anything until the end of the turn. Another thing I could do is get better artillery. That would not... Well, I guess now, because of all the factories, tanks are going to be more useful than artillery because a lot of their units now, their armored cars, are not going to be susceptible to artillery bombardment. Great, now who can move here? He can't. He can move and hold the crossing, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else for him to do. Unless we wanted to move him south along here, cross the river and come... No, this river is going to cut off any supply. So in fact, even moving this anti-tank guy further south is not meaningful. Let's get these guys all just move across, and we'll leave this just as it is. Maybe the submachine gun guy right here, which his job exactly is just to come over and reclaim territory. We'll get him to mop up all these other pieces of enemy territory. Okay, so what else do we want? We took Bayreuth, that was priority number 1. We can't bombard with anybody else, so the question is, should we attack? Well, it's pretty weak. I think it behooves us to attack it. These guys are actually at the same action point, so they can probably both attack, and then that's their turn. They're done. That's the end of their turn. We can get 3 units on it. Unfortunately, that would push us beyond our attack stack. I do like the fact that these machine gunners can attack, so I think they will contribute. So who of these two then? I think we'll get our light tanks to move in, and then we'll start sending our... Actually, I take it back. These guys can get all the way here. If they move here, it's 30, and that will cost 40. No, that will cost 30 as well. Okay, good, then let's do that. Surprisingly, we can't see any enemies there? That doesn't seem right. Let's do this attack. Yep. Well, that was a slaughter. I guess that makes up for some of the interesting attack on Bayreuth. Just a lot of units dead. 13 rifles, truck, 6 artillery, 10 armor cars, and 11 infantry guns, as well as 6 heavy artillery. Hopefully that puts to rest all the artillery bombardment we've been suffering. It's not a guarantee, but it's a hope. Okay, so these guys can't move anymore, huh? Neither can these guys. Well, the line will just have to hold like this for a time. I don't want to move the tank unit out because obviously I want to hold this very critical crossroads and bridge crossing. It's key. My suspicion is there are units in this suburban hex, but the opportunity, what would they have in there that would be so threatening? Oh man, it's really hard to say. Maybe just moving these engineers forward to here will reveal whatever we're worried about. Did not help at all. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. And you can't move there and still move back. But this is actually defendable. Okay, let's... Is it possible to move these guys forward? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's move everyone forward. Strategically move these guys because, I mean, they're blank, but I want them in the same hex as my headquarters. And then these guys actually have to move because they have units, but they're capable of moving. And now we have this one other infantry unit, which is also, yeah, it's also starting to be built up. So we'll leave it in there. Very good. Where can you go? The only one you can bombard is this one. But that's not so terrible. There's a lot of infantry there and not a lot here, so we'll do the bombardment like this. Bombard and then dive bomb. Okay, that hopefully weakened them up a little bit. Now let's get this guy to finish off his turn. A little bombardment. Okay, we killed 2 armored cars. That's something. That's really almost the end for us, huh? We're so close to Cologne. And nobody can support my tank if he moves forward. He'll likely be cut off. He can survive at least 1 round without... And I seriously doubt that we'll face something, anything, that can actually hold the fields, not even forest or urban, the fields against 2 tanks. So he who dares wins, right? Or okay, great. Well, I guess it was empty. And Cologne is empty? That is certainly not true. It's their capital. It looks like we could take Cologne on the next turn, which means I think this Let's Play series will be coming to an end very quickly. And that's good. It's dragged on, and we kind of see things are snowballing out of control. Okay, good. Well, let's see. It's only 15 minutes in. We could do some more mop-up. Is there any reason to attack, though? We've only used half of our available battle stack on these units, and we know that we have plenty of battle stack, or we have plenty of dive bombers available here. Actually, we're over our stack limit, which is giving us that minus 20%. So let's create a new one and move those 4 new dive bombers out. Get them to be CAS. What are we up to? Our 18th CAS. Wow, that's very impressive. Alright, so let's see. The 16th, where did they move? I think they're going to end up heading to Rune because Lorient is now available. Unfortunately, it's damaged. Oh, but so very minorly damaged that I think it's okay to move units in there. So let's move both of these guys in. Maybe just one. I want to see what their readiness drops to. 96. Okay, so it does drop to the exact percentage of the structural. That's good to know. And now they can dive bomb. Means we definitely need to hold Lorient, otherwise we lose those guys. I think we'll move these guys forward as well. So let's just start shifting units forward. Our best ones, typically. Like so. And now Orléans will be the home of the 16th. And we'll go ahead and switch the headquarters over as well, because that seems to make sense. Oh, they have a... What handcard do you even have? Blitz! Huh. I've never used it. I hate this the chance that it'll kill or wound an officer, though, so forget it. That's another thing I will try to disable if we play the AI again, these hand cards. It does give the AI a bonus, which is probably a good thing, but I'd rather give them a production bonus than this kind of random combat bonus. So, yeah, actually that makes sense. I should give the AI a production bonus at the same time that I take away their ability to just mass produce factories. I think that'll even itself out and make it a nice even fight again. And then it'll also be more about infantry, which it should be. Okay, so we are going to fight here then. Now that we've cleared up the overstacking penalty, let's go to work. Okay, yeah, since we've already bombarded this one and it's really weak, I'm going to use the weaker of the 2 dive bombers, meaning the one with only 4 and the newer one. So we'll attack. And they are not getting much done, are they? Still, it's something. I mean, just killing 3 armored cars is 3 armored cars less that we have to deal with. Their combat strength has decreased pretty significantly. One question we ask, is it worth it to move forward first before we attack? Should we close the gap? I think so. I don't want these forces like, I don't want to have to mess with them. We need to attack with these guys. And these guys. Is there anybody else who can worm his way around? No, huh? I need this anti-tank in the attack. Well, these guys are pretty weak. I could just hold it, leave it up to these guys. Yeah, okay. We'll leave it up to these 3 to successfully attack and defeat this unit. However, I think I'm actually going to bombard and attack this, dive bomb this one, and then attack it first. It's the same either way. It's 1 anti-tank and 2 supporting infantry in either of these hexes. So the question is, do I want to push these units into here? Ooh, that's... Yeah, I guess so, because this hex hasn't been dive bombed or bombarded yet, so let's do that. Okay, we get all 3 of those. We attack. And that went well. So let's move in. Let's move in. We could even move like this, which makes more sense to me. This guy can move, but we'll leave him until the end of the turn here. Because we want, I don't think it matters, but I like to see the surrounding units. And after this attack goes well, then we'll pull them out. So I think the artillery in this hex, the best thing for them is going to be actually to bombard here. So let's do all. I mean, you may not be getting the most of bang for your buck from the artillery, but you are just because you're using them in a place where you're attacking. And it's always best to weaken a hex that you're going to attack. So the last of our dive bombers in Velberg can engage in this dive bombing here, and then we can even send one more from somewhere else. Like, that was not super useful. I guess we are still lowering their readiness and their entrenchment, so that's okay. One more before we before the ground forces arrive. The ACE versus the GCE, the air combat element. And now the ground combat element can move in. Go get them, boys. Yeah, this should be just a slaughter. There wasn't much left to defend. Okay, very good. So we'll decide to move the anti-tank in or not. It might be better just to put him back up onto the road. We have enough anti-tank around here, so like this guy, for example, he can move. Oh, he can move there. That's fantastic. So now we can. Now it makes sense to move these guys forward. Good. Let's just make sure that they're still all in supply. So, for example, this guy's not in supply. Well, that's interesting. I may have moved one hex too far. I bet he's probably like 101 or something like that. Yeah, he's at 101 if you look here. 101 out of 250 AP. So as soon as you cross the 100 mark. So my moving the headquarters to forward actually moved him from 99 into 100 to 101. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer. And we moved the engineers forward to try to scout this, which didn't end up helping. So we don't even have engineers in a position to build a road to try to help out here. Well, I think... One, it doesn't really matter. They can survive one turn there. And by the end of one turn, I think we can find... Oh, well... Can these guys get there fast enough? I don't think so. Does that help? Probably not. Maybe. Actually, yeah, it will. It will. So now we're back down to... What are we at? 97. Very good. So this engineer saved the day. And this guy hasn't moved yet. Where do we want him? I think it's green here. Yeah, we might as well move in there then. I was hoping to take this hex. Just, I'm not sure whether it'll be in supply, and I think it won't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it won't. So we would need enough action points to move out, and it costs 70. It'll cost more than 30 to move here. Probably 40 or 45. Do we want to try to venture across the stream anywhere else? Probably not. Probably not. We'll just hold the line. It's okay. There's no strategic objective over here. This is basically the military zone for the Russians and the Germans to fight. And I don't want to get involved in that, so I'll just hold my line. Okay, this unit. He can move north. That'll overstack us there, but for one turn, I think it's okay. This artillery can move forward here, and we'll probably do a double bombardment of the Germans. Oh, I don't really like to do that. I want to keep them fighting strong against the Russians. But if I don't do anything, my artillery is actually going to lose the opportunity to get valuable experience. I think I'll move them here. That's going to take almost all their action points, but we can... I hope... Did I just move them out of supply? No, we're still good. So I can defend with this infantry and also with this anti-tank. And I think I'll do just that. 25 minutes on the recording. Probably about time to call this to a close, which means it's about the time where we're getting into the northern territory anyways. Let's just figure out what we want to do here. Is it finally time to close this pocket? I mean, I really think so. We have a lot of artillery here that can bombard, so will involve... I guess this artillery will move forward, so we'll just use the red artillery. This is their final bombardment, probably of the game. I don't think they'll be able to get involved anywhere else. They won't be able to move to the front fast enough, so... We'll do this, and we'll use some more dive bombers, which we have plenty of still. That was already super effective. In fact, I want to use the other remaining artillery, just because I would love to destroy this factory. We'd have to get pretty lucky, but there's a chance it'll work, so let's go for it. Actually, it looks like we have 2 more artillery groups because I forgot that our headquarters has the artillery, which is going to be transferred to the 24th next turn. This will unfortunately prevent... It will prevent the headquarters from moving. We don't need them to move anyways, so let's do it. And hopefully this destroys the tank factory. Yes, location destroyed. Fantastic. We did just enough. We did 747 and we had to do 600. Okay, good. So that brings that little game to a close. Let's get this 163rd to help. Obviously the guys that are further west are the best to use first, because as we go further east, they won't be helpful anyway. Alright, this guy, he's not useful for anything. Nope. These guys can both probably attack the Russians here. Yep. See, I mean, this is such a sizable unit, we might even consider attacking this. But no, I'm gonna hold off. I'm going to just maintain my really extremely good defensive positions, and hopefully these guys will just continue to battle it out, so we'll attack the Russians. And we all know the Russians are my main opponent. Killing a lot of horses, a few trains, some guns. 16 horses, I'm so sorry. For all those... PETA will be onto my stream soon enough. Okay, well, let's see. We're going to bombard here, I think. These guys, they don't have much to give, but this will give them some experience and hopefully do a little damage to the Russians. Yeah, it's good. That's something. Okay. Let's get this infantry to move into here. This is a nice hodgepodge unit, which I don't know where he's going to be best. Maybe down here. Let's get this guy to go into the forest. He's going to help out. I don't think he'll make it, but his idea is to help out with Cologne. And I think we've done all our dive bombing and really everything we can do in the south. So that'll bring this episode to a close. Oh, well, sorry. One last thing. We have to... This brave... Let's just take a moment to salute these units before we overrun them. These brave units have held this pocket for, like... I mean, one game turn is a month, so, you know, about half a year they've been cut off and fought bravely. So, despite the fact that we have to overrun you, we do salute you, and we engage you with nothing but the greatest respect. If somebody would like to cue the taps, this would be the appropriate moment. And goodbye. And let's get these guys across now that we have secured, well, we've secured this area, so there's no reason to stay on the west side. We have perfect supply. Let's take advantage of it. I'm just gonna putter a little slowly here. There's no, again, one really important, I can't stress this enough, I can't say it enough, that there's no strategic objectives over here. So there's no reason for me to try to risk forces. Let's just stay back, hold back in reserve, let the Russians come up to us where we can beat them back with heavy artillery and lots of dive bombers. Yeah. So thanks for watching this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one where hopefully we can push beyond Lorient, and maybe even, if we have enough time, we can end the turn and begin our assault on Cologne. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.